anyone that has to leave at any moment, has to leave, for example, then don't worry, we're going to be recording this event. And for anyone obviously that's watching later down the line, then it's great to have you join us and watch this event as well. Just a couple of points before I pass it on to Marco. We have so much to share, and all 7 of us are going to be speaking today, so we won't have too much time for questions. But all the same, if you do have questions, if you do have ideas, what we'd love to do is hear you write them down or just say hello in the chat box. And we will try and get to those questions at further events. But today, the 7 of us are going to be speaking, and we also have a guest speaker from the IOM, Sarah, who's going to be talking towards the end of this event. Now, as I said at the start, this is a virtual event, but what we'd like to do is make it feel like we're all together. So it would be great for anyone that has access or is able to raise their hand virtually. And I'd like to know, just ask you a question before I pass it on to Marco. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to hearing what we have to say? And if you are, then what I'd like to do is see you raise your virtual hand. And when enough people have raised their hands, then I'm going to pass it on to Marco. So let's see how many people. We've got quite a few people. Raise your hand. Lots of people. Raise your hand. More people. A few more. Okay, great. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass it on to Marco, and he's going to give you a very initial introduction as to what the paradigm community is going to be about. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you to everyone who is attending our launch event today. We are very excited to launch this new initiative, and I wanted to briefly explain how it started. It started almost 1 year ago when Ben and I met in Tuscany, had the opportunity to spend a weekend together. And we were discussing openly in front of a glass of wine, and probably the ideas were flourishing. And we realized that we didn't want to create any new association. I mean, there are very good, reliable, well-established associations. And that's why Paradigm is a community. We wanted something larger, more inclusive, and a different style, a completely different thing. And talking about global mobility, we realized that global mobility is not only lawyers or other professionals. Global mobility covers a lot of different sectors. So the idea that we wanted to start these communities to be very inclusive, open to any sort of sectors, and to give more opportunity to junior professionals, more students or junior people to bring your ideas, share comments, thoughts. And that's why it started. And the second thing is that we wanted to create new channel of communications, and that we will, the other founders will explain later that we spend months in discussing how to create this new form of exchanging ideas. And we selected a platform, it's called Discord, that I'm not a techie, but I find it very, very open, very innovative, and I'm very curious. I'm sure that many of you have already had some volunteers, some members who have started to use this platform. And so it will be, I believe, quite innovative. So at the end, today we are first, I want to finish with some thanks. First of all, to the other founders, because apart from the original ideas and some other ideas which I've contributed, most of the hard work, they did it. So I don't want to take the merit, or I have only a minimal part of the merit, but they're being really great and working so hard during these months of work and discussions. Secondly, to sales, which help us in managing the platform and all the administration, some back office work that you don't see, you don't realize how hard this team, but Manuela from sales has been helping us a lot. And then to the volunteers and members, we already have a group of people who are part of the association, of the community, and using Discord, so they're already actively helping the growth of the community. And then thanks to whoever will join from today onward. We hope and we believe, we are sure that the community will grow But the main aspect, the main element will be your enthusiasm, your participation. So we want everyone, despite of their seniority, their title, to be very active in the community. So thank you, Ben, and thank you, the other founders. And I leave the screen to Ben for further comments. Thank you again.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Marco. I've seen the attendees, and many of you watching this probably already know who Marco Mazetsky is. But I want to address Marco first. And for those of you who do not know who Marco Mazetsky is, I want to be very clear. He is one of the great professionals in the history of the industry that we work in. And Marco, on behalf of the other co-founders, I have to say, it has been a bit emotional. It's been a privilege, an honor, a duty, and really a joy to share your brilliance and start this journey with you and the other people, the other co-founders and volunteers involved. So I want to thank you, first of all. As to the idea, I do want to go into a bit more detail on that. And my recollection was a bit different to yours, Marco. And for me, it started in October of last year, a nice autumn morning here in London. I woke up, my phone was next to me in bed, obviously, and I see a message on my phone, Marco Mazetsky. I looked at the message, my first thought was, what have I done wrong? Why am I getting a message from Marco at 8 o'clock in the morning? And then I look at my phone, the message says, when can you talk? There were no emojis, no exclamation marks. Massimo will always send me a couple of kisses or a gift, but it was very serious. So I knew that you really wanted to talk about something important. And we had that conversation. And after that, what you did is you said, go away, talk to some people, do some homework, is what you said, Marco. And the one memory I have from that is how it made me feel, which I'll never forget, really. It really gave me the courage, energy, and drive that I can't really put into words other than the fact that I believe it's something that's been passed on to the co-founders and the other volunteers. And as this community grows, that is something that we will need to continue to pass on, that energy, that momentum to do something new and different. So I'm going to move on now and talk very briefly about the volunteers involved in this. And we already have a fantastic, diverse group of volunteers that represent around 20 countries all over the world. And if we want to create something different and new, then the more different we are, the stronger that we can be together, because we actually believe it is absolutely necessary, but also urgent, to create almost a new rainbow nation in global mobility, a new nation, a new different things and different ways of doing things. And with that in mind, I'd quickly like to talk about the co-founders before I talk about the idea, but I don't know what to say really about Audrey and Danny and Sophie and Massimo and you, because you are not, to me, co-founders, you are friends. Some of you, I think, met for the first time in 2004, 16 years ago or so. So to have started this with you, it just wouldn't have happened without your commitment and your consistency, and that really has been incredible. And maybe we can move on to the first slide that we're going to go through today, if that's okay, Sophie. And in terms of the basic concept behind paradiGM, it came to me because it was really a consequence of a lot of self-introspection, almost psychological thinking. And the first discovery that I had really was the fact that obviously because of the pandemic, we're living through a time of massive discomfort in the world. And to many, it's natural to me as well that it can feel uncomfortable. What I would say is that maybe after some time and thinking and reflecting, we can maybe reframe that and not see this as a time of discomfort and disruption, but something that could be exciting. Because what I noticed from the people that might be watching this today is that there is an absolute appetite for something different, for some change, for something new. And An example of that, for example, is that in business, we're often led, because of our client needs and business needs, to be almost orbited around North American and European markets. But wouldn't it be interesting if we took this moment of change in the world to take a different approach? We use the term global mobility, but perhaps we should imagine what possibilities there might be if we try to make it even bigger and more inclusive than it already is. What if we want to make something that is more accessible? Then mobility doesn't just have to be global. It could actually be something that is universal. I'm just going to have a quick sip of water, bear with me. So what I mean by that, for example, is I think now is really a great time to try and embrace new alternative voices from the industry, from the world, and have greater representation from people within Africa or other underrepresented countries. Or we can have a more visible platform like Discord, where we have a platform for young professionals and the LGBTQIA+ community. We really think it's about time that there are more Black leaders or more people from minority backgrounds that have the highest voice at the top of organizations and communities. Because surely everyone deserves an opinion on a voice on mobility that is a subject of universal interest. Now, many of you probably watching this asking or wondering, well, this is a new community. What is in it for me? What are the benefits that I'm going to gain? And I want to touch on that very briefly for a moment. And one trend that we observed is that the pandemic has really made people think about their purpose more than ever before. People want to know what they can actually do to start giving back by volunteering or helping to grow others and developing people's careers by being mentors or being mentored. So we want you to know that if you become a member of paradiGM, this community is going to exist to celebrate individualism, because we don't think there should be a difference between your professional self and your personal self. And finally, the further reason why we think we need paradiGM is because we think we now need a solution for us to start connecting in different ways. We're living in a moment at the moment where we can be further apart. And there are some countries like in the UK or the United States where most of us are almost fully vaccinated. But that isn't the case for everyone all over the world. Recently it was Brazil and India. And now at the moment it's Sydney and South Africa who are locked down, and people there potentially feel more disconnected than ever before. But a lot of us in the industry are thinking about the next conferences and when we can physically be together. What we think is important is not being closer together, but feeling closer together and having that emotional connection between people that are members of paradiGM. And I want to end this introduction on my side to the people who maybe are a bit like me. If you are a person who has sometimes felt at one point or another like an imposter, or you've had to wear a mask to fit in, you can remove that mask, because paradiGM will be a home for you. If you are a person who wants to feel included and connected and belong to something meaningful, then paradiGM will be a home for you. And for anyone who has asked me what they can bring to the community, our answer to you is really quite simple. What we really want is for you to be yourself. Now, I've done a lot of talking and presented maybe some big idealist ideas, so I think it's a good time to pass it on to another of the co-founders. And I want to say that I am one of the authors of paradiGM. This person is also one of the authors of paradiGM. But in my opinion, this person is also one of the authors of my career, in fact. I mean, that is a reality to me. And in my opinion, the real luminaries of the world, the real important people, are the ones that quietly go about their business, making change and making progress without wanting or needing to make much noise. This person is one of those people. because in my opinion, Audrey Luscottin is a luminary in the global mobility industry. And I'm going to pass it on to Audrey to tell you more about what paradiGM is, our mission, and who we are. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks, Ben. Quite the introduction. I do prefer not to be in the spotlight, so here I am in the spotlight. But I'm excited to be here, to be honest, because I'm really passionate about what we're trying to do with paradiGM, and really excited to bring in new people to our initiative here that we've all been working so hard on for many months. So taking a kind of a step back from the big picture vision that Ben has put out there, I think it's really important to address, what exactly is paradiGM? And paradiGM is an international community. As I think both Ben and Marco have said, our goal here is to really be a community, not just another professional association or organization. And we are a community committed to promoting purpose and meaningful collaboration within our industry, within global mobility. From a logistical standpoint, we are organized as a group under the Center for International Legal Studies, which is a nonprofit registered in Salzburg, Austria, and really a wonderful organization that has made this possible for us. What is our mission? Any purpose-based group, community needs a mission. And our mission is really threefold. It's to connect global mobility practitioners in ways that help them to develop, to thrive, what we call grow, while giving back to diverse communities, what we call give, and connecting with one another in really genuine, meaningful ways that go beyond the connections we typically form at business networking events, and that we call gather. So our mission is really to grow, to give, and to gather. Ideally, these purposes will overlap. The perfect example of this to me is that we will, gather together in efforts to give back, volunteering opportunities. And in the process of that, we will learn and we will grow. So all of these, these three pillars, as we sometimes call them, really all interconnect and overlap. But we had to have some organization, and as Ben knows, I'm a big fan of organization and strategy. So we've divided it into those three areas of give, of gather, of grow. I'm going to try not to talk too much because we're a little behind schedule here. So I want to turn it over to Massimo, someone else who has been an absolute visionary in this process. I remember when we were first getting started, Massimo could go on and on about all of the things he wanted to accomplish. Every time there was a refugee disaster in the news, Massimo wanted us to address it and to do something about it. And I love his enthusiasm and his passion. Although I sometimes have the job of bringing him back down to earth and saying, operationally, how are we actually going to help in every place in the world at once? Massimo is also, in addition to being a visionary and someone with a really big heart who cares deeply about giving back, Massimo is also a lot of fun. As you can maybe see from his picture later on, he likes to dance. And he loves music, and he has been the #1 person on our Discord platform putting together great playlists. Well, mostly great, there are a few questionable ones, but has really brought a lot of passion to our initiative. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Massimo to tell us a little bit more about Give, as that will be his area of focus.
Thank you, Audrey. I'm trying to have a neutral face, not to show how excited I am, which probably is not working. So I will be the GIF advocate, and what we're trying to do through the GIF initiative is to enable our members to create meaningful change by collaborating with each other while giving back to diverse communities. First of all, I would like to give a big shout out to Fiona Mougenot, Shraddha Mittal, Philip Trott, I'm not forgetting anyone, Mariana Vieira da Rocha, and Lynn McDonough Mackenzie. They're all volunteering for the GIF initiative, and it's through their energy, enthusiasm, and knowledge I find my motivation, and that I'm sure that we can accomplish a lot of good things, great things actually. Few things that we will be doing, and I'm not trying to publicize too much already. We're going to present a couple of organizations we want to support through our membership fee, as a percentage of our membership fee will go to an organization. And then we're going to put it to a vote, and then our members can select one organization initially that we will support through our funds. As we will grow organically, we'll probably have to consider supporting more organizations, but that's something for the future. And secondly, we will also open a platform to accept crowdsourced volunteering proposals in the near future. How it will work is simply, it's really straightforward. One of our members comes with a proposal of volunteering for a certain organization or a good cause, and then any other member in the entire world can actually sign up, and then they start volunteering together, and then hopefully present the results to the rest of the membership and to see what they have done. That's it. Back to you, Audrey. This is Massimo from Belgium.
Thanks so much, Massimo. I'm really excited about the Give initiative, and really excited to see all of the crowdsourced ideas that our members will submit. As Ben and Marco mentioned in the beginning, you know, we really, although we don't have time for a lot of Q&A today, really, you know, paradiGM is a community and we want to hear from our members. So it's really perfect to hear from them with their great ideas on how we can give back. I will serve as the Grow advocate to help members really develop and thrive professionally, regardless of what phase of their career they're in. I feel really strongly that it's so important, regardless of whether you're just starting out or you're leading a large organization, to continue to grow, to learn, to have a purpose beyond just your everyday, you know, getting your work done. You've got to have opportunities for the future and hope for the future, I think, to really stay engaged and have what you do be meaningful. I do want to give a big thanks to the team of volunteers that I have thus far, which are Julia Macri, Lisa Atkins, Rhea Narula, Renee Stegman, Marie O'Neill, and Marcel Reers. You guys are fantastic. I'm already really energized by all the ideas that we've had. And there'll be opportunities for more volunteers to join us. So anyone that's passionate about growth and professional development can join. A couple of very high-level updates in terms of the specific programs we'll have under Grow. We're going to do a paradiGM Academy, which will be a series of course meetings for young professionals or people that are newer to the industry, to help them grow and develop and also form bonds with one another and be mentored by our more seasoned members. And that will be limited to a small group that will meet for a series of 6 months over the course of the year. We'll be opening applications for that in September. For our more seasoned members, we're going to have Mastermind Group, which will provide a forum for them to really learn from each other and have a sounding board of other more seasoned professionals in the industry. And we're also really excited about a lot of the topics we're going to be having webinars and informal chats on. One big topic for us is business sustainability. And so we'll be having an event on that in the fall coming up. And that's enough of me talking. So I'm going to pass it along to Danny now, who will be our Gather advocate. Danny, I was trying to remember the first time we met the other day for this intro, and I couldn't even pinpoint the date because it feels like Danny has always been in my life and always brings a smile to my face whenever I see her on the screen or in person. She's forever using her enthusiasm to connect people, and despite leading a very large, successful practice in Brazil, always makes time to help others and to make connections between people that she knows. and cares about. And she always finds time for fun as well. So Danny, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. It's a great introduction. I feel like nervous to be here. I know that's almost everybody here is my friend, so I'm super happy to see the names on the chat, old friends, new friends. So it's super nice to be here. So I'm in charge of Together, but I can't do this alone. So I really invite everyone to bring ideas and share what you were expecting from us, because as Ben and everyone said, this should be a community. So here it's our first ideas. So is to put people connect on the Discord and have some weekly casual chats. We are thinking about to change the times, so it'll be more easy, it'll be easier for everyone from different time zones to join us. We're gonna have a gather event on July 27. I have a very nice team that's working with me. Now it's Juliana Ruiz, Shurada Mital and Pahagan, but we would like to invite more members. We'd like to make this fun, inclusive. So if you are interested, please contact us, let us know. And so thank you for inviting me to be part of this and allowing me to be here and facilitate this group with you. And I would like to introduce to Sophie. Sophie, it's like Audrey was saying, I was thinking about when I met Sophie, it was a long time ago. She was launching her own company after we started to work together. And now we are working together again. So it's like for years, we have been working together in different ways. She was always an inspiration for me because it was always start new things and always available to help everyone. So it's a pleasure to be here, and Sophie will be working with innovation with us. Thank you all. Muito obrigada.
Oh, Danny, man, you told me that you were going to introduce me by saying that I like drinking wine. So I was all prepared.
I would like to do this, but Ben cut me. Remember,
I know,
Ben said, hey, he's a professional.
I know, but now I'm all emotional. I'm like, oh, so you put me off my stride, man. Anyway, so yeah, so my part of this beautiful community is innovation. So all that means, I mean, everybody knows what innovation means, right? It means inventing cool new stuff or just new stuff. And I just wanted to emphasize that innovation and technology are not the same thing. So innovation is just having new ideas and inventing new things. So Paradigm Community is obviously an innovative idea because it's the first kind of really serious community for immigration people that is for everybody from everywhere, whether they're a lawyer or not a lawyer, you know, and I think that's super important. So I'm excited about innovative things. I like inventing new stuff. I like trying stuff out and seeing if it's going to work or not. And I like taking risks. And I think everybody in the room probably sympathizes and feels similarly. And I also wanted to say that I don't have any kind of mini team. So these guys were talking about their teams of volunteers. I don't have one. And part of the reason I don't have one is because I thought it would be more innovative to invent my team or to create with you guys a team for innovation within Paradigm made up of people who didn't necessarily know each other yet. I want to meet new people, and I think you guys want to meet new people too. So I thought, let's make a little team for innovation. And I promise that on my part, I will do everything I can to facilitate discussions and ideas and exchange and to help make ideas something that we can bounce off one another, you know, growing the whole time as they're bouncing, and try and turn some of these ideas into reality. So I'm super excited about it. And I'm, I am honored to be part of this team of amazing people. Thank you. And now I'm going to introduce Ben. No, probably nobody knows Ben. So.
Thanks, Sophie. I'm not going to talk for too long because now I'm a bit worried about Audrey telling me off for talking too much after this. So I'm going to keep it quite short, other than to say three quick points, really, 3 or 4 quick points. I am bursting with excitement to introduce future members of Paradigm to the team of people so far that are involved in making this community and maybe the global mobility industry more diverse. Those people are Anna Khan in Australia, Corinne Elliott in the UK, who's of Jamaican heritage, Naran Zaroug, who's also in the UK but has a very diverse background, and Sherazad Maistrin, who's in Brussels. And I think I'm going to leave it to them to tell you about their ideas, because they're so amazing and they have so much energy that I really just can't wait for them to be on the screen for everyone that's a member to know more about them. Really, the one concept that I kind of gave or suggested to them at the start was that we hear about diversity a lot in the industry at the moment, and that's great that there's more content and knowledge on it. The approach that I have asked them to follow is from a Buddhist concept, actually a Zen concept called Shoshin, which is approaching it from beginner's mind. And I want them to almost clear their minds of everything that they know or think on diversity and almost approach it as if they are starting something from scratch, which is what we're doing at paradiGM anyway. And so they're going to be sharing their ideas very soon. But just to touch on one quick point before I pass this on, we want diversity to cover serious issues, some of the ones I mentioned before, and discuss topics from farmers protesting in India, or what we can learn from the future design movement in Japan. But we also want to be fun. And I think we want to have fun, diverse conversations. We want to use the Discord to exchange recipes from Sydney to Sao Paulo, or Massimo to share, and other members to share playlists of Middle Eastern musicians. So diversity is not always about, the serious topics. It's about being playful as well. But I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to let Audrey tell you more about why we believe we are going to be different as a community in the industry. Thanks.
So this is one of the very first things that I gave Ben a bit of a hard time about when he called me with this idea to start a new community. And it was, okay, well, there's a lot of communities already out there, or at least a lot of organizations and associations already out there. How will this be different? How is this a good use of our time? So he, to his credit, came back with this giant spreadsheet, having analyzed like every organization out there. But it really convinced me. And I don't think I'd be involved if I hadn't been convinced that this really was going to be different. And there really is a need for it in the industry. A huge thing is that it's accessible to all global mobility professionals, and even those just aspiring to a career in global mobility. They might be students now. They're not licensed attorneys. They're not, already a member of a particular organization or society. They're welcome. Another big thing is meaningful connections. We will provide a venue for people to form meaningful connections that go beyond what you usually can in a business networking setting. The founders, the volunteers, the people that are already part of the community really have these meaningful connections. We support each other through thick and thin, with challenges, with successes. And that's really what we want to expand and bring more people into what we sometimes, this is a phrase someone else came up with, but what we sometimes term our immigration family. We also will be very purposeful about encouraging new ideas, encouraging growth, encouraging transparency. We think we can learn so much from fields outside of global mobility. One of my favorite things that we have brought into this is, the concept of drawing from emotional intelligence and the field of psychology. I think that we can all learn so much from that. Some of you are familiar with, circular economics or donut economics. Again, these are concepts that are originating outside the field of global mobility, but can bring so much to our field. So we're going to not just tolerate other ideas, but actively encourage everyone to bring new ideas so that we can all grow and learn together. We're also going to be very transparent about the way that we operate. Anyone who has questions about the way we operate, we're happy to answer them. We're going to have financial transparency in terms of how we're operating. Everyone is welcome to have full information about the governance of paradiGM and honestly to be involved in it. And last but not least, give is really central to our purpose. And I think that makes us different than a lot of other organizations, particularly during COVID, as Ben mentioned. A lot of us have been feeling that there's a piece missing. Yes, we are still trying our best during lockdown to help corporations relocate their employees, but really, what are we doing for the world? How are we giving back? And not to say there aren't other opportunities to give back out there, but what I really love about this is it's a community of people that I really like, that I enjoy being with, and that then I can go and volunteer with. Because when you are actually having a bit of fun, connecting with people, learning new things, you're more likely to keep up that volunteering effort and to actively want to do it and to excel at it. So it's just a really fun way, honestly, for me to volunteer, and I hope that it will be for you all as well. That's really, I think those are some really big differences that set us apart from other organizations in the industry, or at least those that I have been a part of. In the interest of time, I'm going to hand it off to you, Shibata, to tell us a little bit more about the membership benefits of paradigm. You, is one of the founders that I've unfortunately not had the pleasure of meeting in person, but have so enjoyed getting to know over the past many months that we've been working on this. She's a really amazing person. She's fluent in, I might not even have all your languages, but Japanese, Spanish, Italian, obviously English. She's incredibly organized and has done an amazing job making all of our presentations and materials just look beautiful. When we've had ideas and not known how to pull them all together to look good, she's stepped in and always seems to know how to make things work and how to make them look good, and to keep us all very organized as our operations and communications advocate. So over to you.
Thank you, Audrey. Hello and nice to meet you all. My name is Yu Shibata and I'm in charge of communications and operations of Paradigm Community. So today I'd like to give you a brief explanation of our membership benefits. As you can see in this slide, we have several membership benefits. At the first point, writing and speaking opportunities. All of our members will have the opportunity to write articles and speak in our events. A voice in governance, because we want to hear from our members. You can expect to receive requests for inputs on everything from webinar topics, event topics, to what courses Paradigm should devote its resources to. Paradigm Academy, as Audrey has already explained, this program is specially addressed to young professionals and to those who are new to global mobility, in which they will have the opportunity to participate in 6 months leadership program. Mastermind groups, this program instead is specifically addressed to our seasoned professionals and leaders. Expert forum, if you are venturing into a new project, a business, or in a new phase, or you are in a new phase of your career, this will help you have the support or have the opinions of our leaders. Relatable conversations. We are going to talk about topics that matter to you, such as sustainability, development, diversity, culture, all in the context of global mobility. Then Discord will be our main communication platform, and all the members will be able to interact and make connection through this platform anytime. Also, all of our members will have the opportunity to participate in interactive social events that we are going to organize. Those events are going to be like virtual gatherings, regular webinars, or with breakout rooms or fishbowl webinars. Also, our members will have the opportunity to participate in collaborative volunteering, crowd-sourced volunteering, charities, and donations that will benefit refugees, immigrants, and vulnerable populations. As a last point, I would like to say that we have an intention to organize in-person gatherings that are socially conscious. However, as you already know, this plan may directly depend on the evolution of the COVID-19 situation. So at this point, or at this stage, this specific point will be more like a goal than an actual membership benefit. So this was an overview of our membership benefits. Then about Discord, as I already explained, Discord will be our main platform. So please let me give you a quick introduction of what Discord is. Discord is an online communication platform that is mostly used by gamers. However, we decided to use this platform because it offers a variety of tools and possibilities to an online community like us. For example, it allows us to create many different channels and sub-channels in one server. This means that if you go to our page of Discord, on the left side, you can see all the channels that we have created, and members can directly participate in the channel and the chat that they are most interested in. Also, Discord allows us to organize meetings, online meetings, and recently it has introduced another service called Stage, which is a service similar to Clubhouse. So for such reasons, we believe that Discord has a lot of potential for us. And as a last point, I'd like to thank my team, Juliana, Sharada, and Sils and Judy, and everyone else who have helped and supported paradiGM community from its preparation phase until this special moment. We wouldn't have been able to achieve this without all your help. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to leave you with Massimo.
Thank you, Yu. Quick clarification to all attendees. I have what is called an eclectic taste in music, just so you know. Next. One of the goals or points of interest of paradiGM is to brainstorm, to work around enabling more sustainable, humane, orderly migration through its members and through the networks that all of us combined have built up with other professionals all over the world, government officials, companies, etc. paradiGM is definitely not the only actor that is pursuing this common goal of sustainable migration. One of the many other actors, an organization I have gotten to know better during the long COVID lockdown, is the International Organization for Migration. So I'm pleased to introduce you to Sarah Barassa, who is a consultant with the Labor and Human Mobility Facilitation Unit at IOM. Here you go, Sarah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Massimo, and also the paradiGM team for the introduction to paradiGM's community and also upcoming work, which sounded all really interesting and also very exciting to listen to. Yeah, and also thank you for the opportunity to presenting some of IOM's work on global mobility, and just also the opportunity to stepping into dialogue and to connect and exchange views. And so right now I will zoom out a little bit and zoom into the more perhaps institutional policy side of global mobility and the international frameworks that underlie global mobility and especially labor and skills mobility. And I'll say a few words up front on the organization itself. And IOM was established in post-war Europe in 1951 and is now the leading intergovernmental organization on migration. It is rooted in the principle and belief that humane and orderly migration benefits migrants and societies alike. And it is also not to underestimate the social dimension of migration that paradiGM, I think, is also dedicated to and likes to promote. And IOM, in its role and mandate, it supports migrants across the globe, and it operates in emergency situations, but also assists in the development of migration policies or strengthening the capacities of different stakeholders for better migration governance. And at the moment, IOM has 174 member states with 8 holding observer status, and it works from various countries and regional offices. And in 2016, the organization joined the UN system and hosts since 2019 also the Secretariat for the UN Migration Network. And lastly, the IOM Constitution also recognizes this important link between migration and economic, social, and cultural development, so that it is really a holistic view that one has to take on migration and mobility. Perhaps the next slide. Thank you very much. There are 2 major global frameworks and instruments that IOM orients towards when it comes to labor migration and skills mobility. And that is on the one hand, the Agenda 2030 and the SDGs, and on the other, it's the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration that was adopted in 2018. And most pertinently, this links when it comes to the SDGs to Goal 10 to reduce inequalities and to facilitate safer migration and mobility, and also to Goal 8 and 4 for better education, but also to improve employability of young persons. And secondly, the work of IOM relates to or is grounded in the Global Compact for Migration, which is also a joined up effort on better global mobility. And it is the first ever intergovernmentally negotiated agreement prepared under the auspices of the UN that covers a wide range of migration topics and aims to do that in a comprehensive manner. It is non-binding, but it presents a good opportunity to make migration work for all and tap into the potential contribution that migration can really make to overall sustainable development. And this compact comprises of 23 objectives, and especially relevant here are Objective 5, that is in pursuit to enhance the availability as well as the flexibility of pathways for regular migration, and that could be through labor and skills mobility channels. That is also Objective 18 that calls to invest in skills development and recognition, and also to build global skills partnerships. And also Objective 23 that aims to strengthen international cooperation in support for regular migration. And in that spirit, IOM also works with partners, and that could be international organizations, stakeholders from the private sector, NGOs, diaspora organizations, think tanks, but also education institutions. And so one cooperation that evolved out of this global compact is the Global Skills Partnership on Migration. That is a joint initiative between the International Labour Organization, IOM, UNESCO, the International Trade Union Confederation, and the International Organization of Employers, IOE. So that's once again a teamed up effort. And in a nutshell, the idea is to pool each organization's expertise and to contribute to the development and recognition of the skills of migrant workers, and to promote labor migration cooperation for overall better economic, but also social and societal outcomes. And another project that is close to IOM's heart, and it also links to global mobility, is an approach that we developed in 2019 called Skills Mobility Partnerships. And while we all know that skills mobility or labor mobility is not a new phenomenon, it has not always been to the benefit of all actors that have a stake in it. So usually, I think also, as Ben has mentioned, it is labor markets and destination countries that tend to benefit greatly from the incoming and much needed labor force, while origin countries usually invest in the education and skills formation of their nationals that then opt to work abroad. And these skills that workers have developed might then be ultimately missing in the local labor market. And to counter these challenges surrounding labor mobility, IOM has then come forward with this approach, Skills Mobility Partnerships. And they're predicated on a multi-stakeholder and whole of government and whole of society approach to ensure that all stakeholders are heard and aboard, and that the costs and benefits of skilled mobility are equitably shared among all parties involved. And these SMPs promote demand-driven skills development and mobility. So they're based on labor and skills needs of both origin and destination country, so that the developed skills of workers can be put to use in both origin and destination country again. And these partnerships also foresee to not only train prospective migrants, but also workers which will then join the local labor market in origin countries. So overall, this model aims to better harness the developmental potential of skills mobility for all country of origin, destination, and especially for migrants. And with this said, I will give back to Massimo to also hear more about paradiGM's next and upcoming plans. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Sarah. It's really interesting. I really enjoy reading about IOM's work and all the projects and initiatives that you are involved in. It's really, I have personal interest, and I know a lot of the members of paradiGM and potential members are also really interested in what you do. Now, as Marco is the alpha and the omega of paradiGM, I will give the word back to Super Marco.
Thank you, Massimo. Well, I'm sad because if it was an event, in-person event, now we will close and we will go together to have a drink and spend the afternoon together. So we cannot do it. So
Marco, should we take the slides off so everyone can see all of us together? I think we were going to do that. That would be cool. So I'm going to take a photo. Hi, everyone. And Sarah, sorry to interrupt, Marco.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that thank everyone again for attending the event. And I want to stress only one point amongst many things that we have touched, that the success and the growth of the community will be in the hands of any new members, the existing one and new members. Anyone means that, again, stress the point, no seniority, no titles, no country. We want to grow really in the most large way that we can do it. And the fact to keep the community alive, you will see, you can immediately start using Discord, create your own community, chat room, discuss feel free to contact any of us and any of the other members. That's the main purpose, the accessibility of everyone and the sharing of thought, information, ideas, mistakes. I made a mistake, why I can cure it by exchanging ideas with the members. So the invite is really being active, and there will be no limit. The only limit is our ethical code, and you can imagine that the classical thing that you cannot use our tools for, say, political or religious or racism, but for all the rest, you are invited to gather and discuss and do whatever you like. The original idea was to have this community like a kind of anarchic community, very, very few rules. And I'm so proud and honored to be initially with the co-founders. I mean, they've been great, to tell you. And then immediately the members who already joined, they are so active. So everyone are really, really grateful that you are the driving force of the community. Thank you again. And see you soon on Discord, and hopefully also in presence or one in-person conference or gathering.
Yeah, and we should also probably mention our next event. So I know we didn't really have space for Q&A here, but Danny, you're hosting a gather chat in just a few days, right? On July 6th at 4 p.m. Sao Paulo time. So we hope that everybody can join, and we'll put out information on how to connect with that. Follow us on our website, on social media, and we'll be sure to let you know about all of our upcoming events.
Yes, please bring your ideas and suggestions. You make time, and we're gonna do some break sessions. So to give opportunity for everybody to speak with us a little bit different from this event, that it was just us speaking. We look forward to hear from you. So see you next time on July 6th.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you all soon.